Sandy, sometimes Mouse, and I talk about books and book-related things, and today I am giving you my July wrap-up. I will also disclaim that it is not quite the end of July. It is July 29th, so actually we have 2 days left, so it's basically the end of the July. I don't expect to finish any books in the next 2 days, so this is my July wrap-up. I am going to give you my regular disclaimers that if you hear any animal sounds, I don't have control over them and they are loud. And also, if you hear my fan in the background, it has been a raging 104 degrees. It's about 40 Celsius every day here in Texas. So it's because it is hot as hell and I am not about to overheat, nor am I about to let my camera overheat just for YouTube videos. So with that out of the way, let's go ahead and get into the statistics for this month. This month was pretty chill, in my opinion. I honestly was surprised when I got through my TBR. I didn't expect to get through my TBR because I've been so busy with work, I haven't been able to listen to books, and then The Sims released a bunch of really cool updates, so I didn't expect to get done with any reading, actually, this month. But I managed to do so. I will say when I show you my book blanket, that is 1 row short, and I am not, more than likely, not going to finish it today, and today is the last day that I have to work on it at my house. So it's gonna be 1 row short, and I'm sorry in advance. 1 or 2 rows short. But anyway, let's get into the stats like I said, and then proceeded not to do. In July, I read a total of 21 books, which is 2,920 pages read, and listened to 135 hours and 45 minutes and 34 seconds, which equals out to about 5 days and 15 hours total of listening. My average pages per day were 90.8, and my average hours per day was around 5 hours of listening per day, so not too bad considering, like I said, I was very busy this month. My average rating was a 3.5 because I just read some really disappointing stuff this month. I actually only had 5 books that had 5-star ratings out of all 21. So that I could put them in my top books for this month, so yep. I read a total of 12 library books and 2 rereads. Of those books, 13 of them were audiobooks, 5 of them were physical books, 3 of them were ebooks, and 1 of them was a graphic novel. The pages for that, I had 1 book that was less than 100 pages, 1 book that was 100 to 200 pages, 1 book that was 201 to 300 pages, 2 books that were 301 to 400 pages, and 2 books that were 401 and 500 pages. I also DNF'd 2 books this month, I believe, and I think that number still shows into the books read section, but I did DNF 2 books, one of which was like an arc, and the other one was that like controversial trans Achilles book. I DNF'd both of those, so it is what it is. Not because anyway, I talk about it in a vlog. You can find the vlog. I believe in you. Anyway, of all of those books, I read 12 adult books, 7 young adult books, and 2 middle grade books. And now I'm going to tell you about the genres while showing you my book blanket. I read 8 fantasy books, 4 horror books, 3 thriller, 2 romance, 1 sci-fi, 1 nonfiction, 1 contemporary, and 1 historical. Okay, now that that's out of the way, that's all of the stats for the month. It's very quick now that I have like a system and I have, you know, a rundown of everything and how I'm gonna do it. I've mastered the art of my wrap-ups. I think they are very to the point. I like them. They're good for me. I don't know about it for you guys, but I like them. For my top 5 books of the month, I had a couple that I deeply did not expect. Actually, 3 out of 5 of them I deeply did not expect. But I'm going to go ahead and give you the one that it was also in my top 5 last month. So is this cheating? Yes, I don't care. I reread it, so I don't care. That is going to be Seasonal Fears by Shawnee McGuire. I did read that again so that I could deface it. I don't know if I finished defacing it or not, though. Oh, no, I did. So I just didn't put cool pictures in it. That was the thing I haven't done yet. So this is what the defacing looked like. So these are all quotes. I also on the back have the, okay, it's not gonna focus, but I have the date that I reread it. On the side here, I don't know if that focused or not, but on the side here, there it goes. In the different colors, I have blue for anything that's from winter's point of view. I have green, that's anything from spring's point of view, and then I have pink for anything that was just general, and I actually did put the pictures in here. My bad, I'm dumb. So we've got like some seasonal little leaves. What else? He makes a joke about how cheerleaders can just fit a bunch of stuff in their bags, so I put a bunch of these things in there. We've got a girl. So yeah, I had a lot of fun decorating this one, especially because like this one doesn't have fan art really. I've got this really cool like tape. This one doesn't really have fan art like Middle Game does because it came out this year. So I had a lot of fun defacing the book. And you know, my big thing with this, with defacing it, is making sure that it's still readable, and that is exactly what I did. So when I read it again, I'll be able to see all of these things that I highlighted and things that I liked. And so I really like it. I need to finish defacing the Along the Saltwise Sea, but I just haven't done so yet. The next book on this list is going to be A Mirror Mended by Alex E. Harrow. I have the first book in that series, which is A Spindle Splintered. I don't have the second one, but I'm hoping to get it, which is A Mirror Mended. And in this book, it kind of talks about how not all of the time are the princesses the good guys. Sometimes the wicked witches were just doing what they could to survive, and it's also queer. So, you know, I really liked that. I also liked the conversation about how you need to stop, like sometimes you have to stop trying to save all of these other people, and you need to, I don't want to say focus on yourself, but focus on the people in your life that already exist instead of trying to help everybody else and their mom, because there are people who love you and care about you and you're neglecting them in those relationships. So I liked that conversation a lot. I felt like it was important to have that conversation, and so I'm really glad that it was had in this little novella. And it is a snack size novella, so if you liked A Spindle Splintered, you'll probably like A Mirror Mended. Then for the one that really surprised me, that's going to be A River Enchanted by Rebecca Ross. I don't know where that book is. A River Enchanted by Rebecca Ross. This book is a cishet romance, that fantasy romance that I super deeply did not expect to like. I think I talked about it in my TBR where I was like, I'm nervous about this because it's beautiful, the book is beautiful, the inside layering is beautiful, all of this is fantastic, and I'm really nervous about it because if I love it, like if I hate it, it's gonna be because of the straight romance. Like that's gonna be the reason. And the only part of it that I did not love was the miscommunication trope in the last like chapter of the book. I hate that. And I know that a lot of the time it's set up for the next book in a series, but I almost feel like this could have just been one book. You know, this could have been one book on its own, and then in the last minute you got the signed deal to have the series, so you decided to just throw that in at the end. And that feels lazy, it feels sloppy, and I don't personally enjoy it. However, all of that aside, if I look at A River Enchanted and discount that one chapter, I think the way that they did kind of Gaelic magic and pagan beliefs in this book was really fantastic, and I liked the Irish languaging and such that was used. I know I'm not Irish, so maybe I'm wrong in that. Maybe I'm referring to the wrong place, but I still liked it a lot, and I enjoyed the magic of the book and the way that it worked and the way they worked with spirits. I thought all of that was really, really cool. I also really did like the enemies to lovers romance. While I did at times feel it went too fast, it just happened all of a sudden. It was like, oh, you guys don't hate each other? All right, cool. But I also think that like if you hated each other as children, left for like 10 years and then came back, that really is how that would happen. So like you'd come back and be like, oh, that was stupid and childish, I'm sorry, and like you'd be over it. I do think that's how that would happen, but for a book in this context, it's felt too fast at times. However, again, I gave it 5 stars and I really, really enjoyed it, and it lives in my mind rent-free. So then we have All That's Left in the World by Eric J. Brown, which is another book I did not expect to like as much as I did. This was a queer book crew book of the month pick for the book club that Art runs and I moderate, and I did not expect to enjoy it. Really, I didn't. I like end of the world stories, I like zombie stories, but when I saw that the genre was romance as like the top genre for this book, but it's a dystopian end of the world zombie book, I was nervous because I was like, what do we have going on here? But the contrast between the two boys that are involved in the book was really, really well done. They were very clearly two different people. And I feel like sometimes, especially in romance-focused books, those two people, sorry, the garbage man's here. those two people sound too much alike, and so it's very hard to tell who's talking when if you like are listening to the book. This was, the two people could have had the same reader and I would have known who was talking because of how distinctly different the two boys talked, and I think that that is incredibly well done and difficult to do. I think that the author here did a fantastic job of that. I also felt like the romance, in the way that it took a long time to get to the romance, I felt like that was well done because it's the end of the world and that's not the hyper focus of your story, but also it is an underlying focus in what kept them going. And I thought that that was a really fantastic way of doing that, because so often I've seen romance in these end of the world stories and the romance takes the forefront, whereas the survival part doesn't. And you know, if it was the end of the world, besties, I just don't think I'd be worried about my romantic interest as much as I'd be worried about finding my next meal. You know, that's just a thought. Like, unless we were married and this person was my family and we had a long, dedicated relationship, that's different. If it's somebody I just met, I'm not gonna turn my focus around on this person. So I liked the way that that book didn't do that, and I liked that it showed that, like, two different sides of the society will definitely be able to survive, and there's some light at the end of the world tunnel, you know? I don't know if that makes sense. And after that, another one that kind of surprised me is Warcross by Marie Lu. I really like Marie Lu's young adult writing. I think that she does a really good job of writing romantic dynamics that have like a shock, at the end of it, and you're like, I gotta read the next book. Like, I think she does a fantastic job of writing those books, and I enjoy them a lot. I always don't expect to enjoy them though, so like by the beginning of starting Warcross, I was like, I'll finish this series later. And then as soon as I finished it, I was like, I want to read the next book right now. Obviously I didn't read the next book, but I will be reading it soon because of how much I enjoy Marie Lu's writing. I think that the way that she handled hacking and video gaming was really well done, especially as somebody who works in the tech field, specifically with code. So sometimes with code, not all the time with code. Nobody get too assumptive about what I do for a living. I think that that Marie Lu did a fantastic job of implementing those concepts into a VR-esque world. Now, I will say I have some confusion about the physical consequences of this game, and if there are any, or what. I have some questions because it seemed like at times that wasn't consistent, but maybe that was just the way I was reading it and my understanding. Regardless, the twist at the end really caught me by the throat and I was shook. So that's my top 5 books for July. Time isn't real. That's my top 5 books for July. I'm now going to tell you the worst book that I read in July, and I want to preface this with, I think I gave it 3 stars, but it was bad because of the twist. So I'm about to spoil this book, so this is the absolute fair warning for that. If you are going to read The 10th Girl by Sarah Faring, I'm gonna spoil the twist for you. So stop listening here or don't, but there's your warning. The 10th Girl has you in this like haunted house school situation on this weird island, and they can't get off the island and weird stuff is happening, and it's the others, and you're reading it from the point of view of both one of the people in the house in the 70s and then somebody from 2020 who's one of these others, like the ghosts in the house. And you're very invested. You're like, I want to know how to exorcise these people. I want to know what happens. I want to know who the other is and why he's one of the others and why they're being haunted and why they're, you know, more and more aggressive than they've ever been before. Like, I want to know all of these things. And it turns out that the answer is it's a video game. It's a video game. The others are players. The video game is where you play the ghost and haunt these AI characters that learn and grow with each reiteration of the game. And that's the twist. And that ruined the book for me. There are some conversations about the way that Indigenous peoples are referred to in this book and how it is a problem. I am not personally educated enough to have that conversation or give that information. I can see how some of the languaging was inappropriate. Usage of the word savage around Indigenous folks, usage of the concept of sacrificing one of these, you know, privileged white girls, not necessarily white girls, but these privileged non-savage, non-Indigenous peoples, I can see how all of that is problematic. I, however, am not versed enough to educate anybody on why. So I highly recommend that you read through some of the reviews on Goodreads for this book to see what about it made it inappropriate. But again, that is not something that I am well versed in, so I personally am not able to do so. But that's it. That is my wrap up for the month. July was an interesting month because June was like all pretty good books or books I was pretty neutral about, and July was like, what bad book am I gonna pick, because there were so many I didn't enjoy. Until I read The 10th Girl and I was like, oh no, I've picked it. We're done, we're ready, we're good to go. That twist was bullshit. So I'm, you know, interested to see how August is gonna go, since June and July have been so different from one another. And also my monthly reading keeps going down. So you know what? We'll see what happens next month about how many books I'm going to end up reading and what the end of the year is going to look like. I feel like by August I can probably give myself a decent projection of what the end of the year is going to look like. So at least there's that. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like and subscribe and share. Let me know in the comments down below if you've read any of the books that I talked about today, or if you read The 10th Girl and have the same thought that I did. If you didn't enjoy this video for any reason other than my personal opinions, please let me know in the comments down below how I can make it better for you. I would love to improve your experience here on the channel of Mouse Reads. I will see you guys again next week. I post every Tuesday and Thursday at 10 a.m. Central Standard Time without fail. And I hope you guys have a great rest of your week. Don't forget to take your meds, drink your water, and do something today to take care of yourself. Okay, thanks, bye.